Hi, the purpose of this video is to show that asynchronous discussion in online learning environments has a set of common characteristics. When planning online courses, instructors need to be aware of these characteristics and to use them to their greatest advantage. In this video, I will share with you examples of asynchronous discussion by learners in the first 3 weeks of the online course Explaining European Paintings, which is currently available on the edX platform. Like most massive open online courses, this course uses asynchronous discussion to achieve its learning goals. My analysis will be based on the typical characteristics that are outlined by Crystal in his book, Language and the Internet. Crystal states that asynchronous discussions have moderators and rules, and this is true for this course. Crystal notes that asynchronous discussions help learners to get to know each other. And from the Hello discussion thread, we learned where classmates are from. Crystal points out that because there are many respondents, there is a great deal of repetitiveness and banality. I think you'll agree that this is the case here. Crystal notes that in classroom discussions, there is an opportunity for equal participation, with learners helping learners. For example, Leeling writes, I have edited transcript into paragraphs and added screenshots of paintings. And Maeve Ella responds, that's very kind of you, Leeling. Many thanks. Crystal highlights the importance of title threads in conferences. Lauren Tan kicks off a discussion thread with, could Titian's mature style be due to old age? I can't help but wonder if the radical change in Titian's style in his later years is due to poor eyesight, rather than a conscious decision. Professor Vergara, he writes back, in part, it was certainly about his physical condition. What is great is what he was able to do by turning his limitations into creative advantage. Crystal notes that most writers go straight into the body of their message without any greeting. Maeve Ella launches straight in. After watching this week's lecture on Caravaggio, I was all more, like at the end of a rock concert, so I went looking for it on YouTube. Professor Vergara responds, for Caravaggio and several other artists, there is a good set of documentary films that was produced by the BBC. Another common technique Crystal mentions is to introduce a message with an explicit reference to a previous posting. For example, Melanie7Z writes, my response to El Greco has been quite visceral. And Cupcake responds, I have the same reaction as you. I find El Greco's work unsettling, even repulsive, despite its brilliant use of color. Crystal points out that the classroom conference facilitates the exchange of ideas among learners at the same level. Regarding a quiz, Sally Cornea writes, in my notes I found early Renaissance and pictorial illusionism. Example, dome with pot and cherubs. Sue's 906 answers, yes, pictorial illusionism is the correct answer, but I don't know what it is. And Gunhild gives further explanation. If you look up at the painting in the dome, you get the impression that the painted sky is the real outside. But of course, it's an illusion. Crystal notes that usually messages are short. Dialogue positively races along with succinct, punchy contributions. A. Stolberg states, looking at the dispute, immediately thought of the more philosophical companion piece, The School of Athens. Diana 47909 writes, yes, this jumped into my mind also. And Melissa Busta writes, I thought of this also and compared the two works side by side. Which one is more appealing to you? Crystal also explains that the more specialized the topic, the more likely the content will be focused. Riti Roy asks, are the tapestries in V&A, London, the ones made by this artist? And P2 answers, Tapestries were the most valued art form of the era, far more valuable than paintings. And Professor Vergara comes in with, what you have seen in the V&A are the paintings made by Raphael so that the weavers could use them as models to weave the tapestries. They are usually referred to as cartoons because they were made on heavy paper. Crystal states that general feedback or back-channeling reactions are also found. Winnie Chung writes, I just wanted to say that the lectures are done so well. They are informative and insightful, but always fascinating. Vernon 78, I agree, they were amazing. And then Crystal notes, changing topics abruptly also happens. Via Carosa says, we're buried in 3 feet of snow up here in the Boston area, and there's no end to it. So it feels heavenly to live in this glittering Renaissance world online. Given the examples that you have seen in this video, I hope that you would agree that Crystal's description of the characteristics of asynchronous discussion are quite accurate and a useful guide to what instructors can expect when building them into online courses. Maybe, too, you have been tempted to join the Explaining European Paintings course. It's not too late.